Carpe diem, my name is Ultranatic, and welcome back to another Total Drama Review. This is where I, as a lover of animation and reality shows, look over the show that combine them together the best. And we're looking over the 4th episode of Total Drama Island, Dodgebrawl. I'll be honest, I've seen several reality competition shows, but none of them have had any episodes focused on dodgeball. Still, with a cast of 16-year-olds, it makes sense to include this idea in there. What's the outcome? Well, clutch your dodgeballs tightly to your chest. Why do they always snicker at that? This is Dodgebrawl. So Chris gives a typical Total Drama recap and build-up.
Stay tuned for the most dramatic campfire ceremony yet.
After Courtney and Ezekiel, that's highly unlikely, as the actual episode begins with the teenagers in the mess hall sleeping. Well, points for accuracy to real life.
You look like crap, dude. Stuff it.
Actually, the killer bats have had even less sleep than you might think, as along with the Awake-a-thon, they had one extra night without sleep due to Harold snoring. Oh yeah, Harold's the goat in this episode, like every other. So much so, they actually drew facial hair on him. I guess he just always struts with runway music playing in his head. Meanwhile, Heather sets the rules for the Alliance, which are more one-sided than a broken seesaw.
Number 3, I can borrow any of your stuff without asking, but my stuff is strictly off limits.
Well, if I'm reading Heather correctly, she's probably not going to borrow Beth's clothes. I mean, they're different body types and fashions after all. Unless Heather is secretly a Trekkie.
I don't know about that last rule.
I can change it. I can also find someone else to take to the final 3 with me.
Yeah, no fear of them revealing that you made a final 3 deal with them. It's a really good thing you wrote these characters as teenagers, otherwise this would be stupid. So they then get brought to a glass arena, which we'll never see again, as Chris gives the rules of dodgeball.
The first rule of dodgeball is...
Do not talk about dodgeball.
I'm so happy they referenced The Sixth Sense. I do like that this show educates you on the rules of dodgeball, even if skill-wise I'm as good as dodgeball as the characters from Dodgeball.
If you get hit with the ball, you're out. If you catch the ball, the thrower gets sent out and the catcher gets to bring in another team member out on the court.
Well, we Killer Baz have an ace up our sleeves, which we just voted out. I don't even have sleeves. What am I talking about?
Throwing balls. Gee, another mentally challenging test.
Oh, by the way, did you notice that Noah's been pretty absent until now? I mean, except for... still casting that ship. But believe it or not, he's the first elimination that gets any kind of proper build-up. Ezekiel and Eva had a few signals that they were going home at most. But all throughout this episode, Noah proves to be a lazy, unenergetic, but strangely likable little snob. Unlike Gwen, who I feel is supposed to have at least some kind of investment in her character, Noah is clearly supposed to be the I couldn't give two granny's apples about any of this kind of character. And it's pretty hilarious.
Oh, sorry. Woohoo! Way to throw those murder balls! Now let's see all you keeners get on out there and dodge. Sports, not my forte, remember? Go team, go!
If you want to carry on being a smartass, you can leave the room.
Gophers, you'll have to sit one person out each game.
Oh, this folder's going into overtime. The Gophers have 2 extra members, not 1. But even then, there isn't a single game with 9 players, it's always 5. So what's the point of forcing anyone out? Well, who cares? It's been declared that Gwen and Noah will sit out, even though Gwen goes out later, because Noah's the leader? So the first round starts with show-off jock Tyler trying to trash talk.
Oh, you're going down! We're gonna bring the dinner to the table, and then we're gonna eat it!
That was fantastically corny. So Tyler proves to be hilariously awful at this game, while Harold is predictably awful. But Owen and Cody prove to be pleasant surprises for their team. Especially since Cody can apparently break the laws of physics. What, was Sokka's boomerang inflated in that ball? How do you even do that?
That is one tough ball to dodge.
That is one bad take to use. Oh, and remember in the last episode how Heather was very adamant on Lindsay not being with Tyler? Well, since Lindsay very clearly stated that she'd still do what she wanted.
Heather said I couldn't date him. She never said I couldn't like him.
She and Tyler keep making sparks like a flint does with fire. While Heather, for whatever reason, is trying to douse that fire every chance she gets.
Right in the round tables.
Ref, he's not even on the court! Oopsies, slipped.
Well, totally bad at that, so keep playing. Anyways, the Screaming Gophers win the first round, much to the delight of their teammates, which consist of mostly Lindsay's cheers repeating.
Woo, yeah!
Oh, that gets annoying real fast. Tyler defends his horrible performance and states that he can dominate this game.
I can dominate this game. Just give all the balls to me.
So he of course gets every gopher out in the next round on his own. Nah, just kidding. He hits everything he's not supposed to. Except and yet somehow including his love interest.
How's my face?
It's really not that bad. You still look great, really.
But because he and Lindsay have been useless this whole game, they choose to ditch this arena. But not without an inner monologue from Lindsay.
You want to go for a walk?
Have to say no. Have to say no.
Okay!
One of many things you can't really see on reality TV.
Hey, get back here! You are so close to being out of the alliance!
Okay, I'm going back and forth on whether Heather's a great strategist or just working with idiots. Okay, obviously the latter. Because who just announces they have an alliance with everyone there?
Telling people who is in his alliance, who's going home, and all this stuff. Who does that?
So the Gophers win another round and the Bats feel defeated. They have only one option left, to wake up a slumbering Duncan. He doesn't take it lightly, but Courtney threatens they'll vote him out if they lose.
I can personally guarantee you that if we lose this game, you'll be the one going home.
Huh, good strategy. Why don't the Gophers say something like that to Noah? All we get on their end is Heather's passive-aggressive comments.
Not that Noah here cares. Nice team spirit. You know, you could actually give it a shot and pretend to care. I'm glad someone is trying today.
So Duncan agrees to play as they come up with a strategy of rushing one person altogether. And it works, much to Heather's annoyance.
But we are not losing another game to these guys. Got it? And where is Lindsay?
Breaking rules 1 through 3.
Whoops, sorry, later episode, although... yeah.
This is so unacceptable.
She finds Lindsay and Tyler underneath the dock, which should be both against her alliance and the challenge in general. Seriously, there should be some kind of penalty on both of their parts. Heather is of course peeved to find Lindsay and Tyler together. Me, however, I actually enjoy Tyler and Lindsay. Are they complex? No. Do we know a lot about either of these two? No. But we don't really need to either. Reality shows have a long history of fan-favorite showmances, starting from just a pretty boy and a pretty girl. And since these two at least have some chemistry and passion towards each other, unlike Gwent, it works out pretty effectively. He even stands up for her despite getting canoed.
Hey, why don't you just chill out?
Why don't you dodge this?
Ow!
So the Bats win the second round and tie it up. It's down to the wire as we get a montage of highlights during the challenge, such as Cody sacrificing his crotch for Gwen. That's a metaphor for something. And Jeff lets Harold into the game, which brightens his mood since he's been out every round since the first. And yet Tyler, the guy who couldn't hit the white end of the White House and was fraternizing with the other team, he gets to play in 3 rounds total? Makes sense to me. It all comes down to Owen, the Gophers' best player, against Harold, the Bats' worst.
Good night, Harold.
But it's okay, because Harold summons the powers of Neo from the Matrix.
Whoa.
Man, this episode is full of 90s film references. And the even greater powers of Peggy Fleming. No, seriously, that's where you learned that.
Where'd you learn to do that? Figure skating.
So the Bats have only one option left, for Harold to catch a ball, seeing as the distance he can throw is the same as from my big toe to my little toe.
The Killer Bats win!
Finally made it! Rocky Balboa has shocked the world! He is the new heavyweight champion of the world!
Harold accomplishes a come-from-behind victory, sending the Gophers to their first campfire ceremony.
What can I say? Weak effort.
Oh, shut it, Noah. You know, for once, I agree with her.
Touchy. What?
And yeah, it's hilarious how Noah is completely unaware of why his team is pissed at him. It's also nice that at the bonfire ceremony, it comes down to Noah and Lindsay, who was just as useless, but at least cared in some capacity.
Lindsay.
Woohoo, yeah!
What, are you kidding me?
Oh, and let me count the bajillion things I love about this scene. 1.
You just voted out the only one with any brains on this team.
No, Beth is still in the game. 2.
Ow!
Oh yeah, I'm sure those really hurt. I feel more pain from a pillowcase filled with Beanie Babies. 3.
You need to learn a little thing called respect, turkey.
Classic insult with Black Girl sass coming from Lashana. 4.
Whatever, I'm out of here.
Noah continues to give his former teammates a middle finger while leaving. And 5.
Alright, so it wasn't the most dramatic campfire ceremony ever, but I still get paid.
Even Chris admitting, yep, I'm only playing up for the money. It makes a fantastic elimination. Does that make it a fantastic episode? No, but it was pretty good. Aside from the numbers division still making no sense, this felt like the first full episode where the writers knew what they were doing. Make a clear target, build up their elimination properly, have them get their comeuppance, throw in talks of alliances, some funny moments, some romantic moments, vengeful, heroic, and root-worthy moments, and you get an episode that may not be perfect, but definitely gave me what I was hoping for when the show originally started. I can for certain say that this episode is on point. It's so good I almost wish I'd just do it all over again. They're gonna repeat a lot of stuff in the next episode, aren't they? Okay.
Heaven with the best shot.